Hey guys, most of you don't know this, but I actually have a crippling allergy. I'm allergic to any porn not shot in 1080p. As a result of my crippling allergy, I need to be constantly treated with porn subscriptions. Please help me by checking out mobalytics.com, a cutting-edge website that doesn't just tell you your stats, but also tells you what areas you should be improving on. It has a one-of-a-kind GPI that tracks your improvement and compares you to other people in your own tier and tiers that you want to reach. The Gamer Performance Index shows you exactly how well you're doing in each category. These 8 categories break down and try to get you to understand exactly what you need to improve. Mobalytics also gives you pre-game and post-game advice to improve your gameplay and to remind you of things that you should be thinking about in each individual game. This isn't another stats website, it's a website that tells you exactly how good or bad you are. The League of Legends World Championship 2017 is starting soon, and the annual Korean summer camp is about to come to an end. But which international pro player climbed the highest on the Korean solo queue ladder? That's what's really important here. Is it Reckless? Is it Doublelift? Pobelter? Maybe Bjergsen? It's actually someone we've all never heard of. It's AnDa. Who? AnDa is the substitute jungler for Immortals, and in a short 2 weeks, he was able to climb up to the top 15 players of the Korean Challenger ladder. Now, to be fair to the other pro players, AnDa is a sub-jungler, and he had far more time to grind out games compared to the other pro players. But it is still extremely impressive that he was able to hit the peak of Korea in such a short time. The 2 champions that AnDa plays the most in the jungle are Ezreal and Nidalee. Now, it's undeniable that Ezreal jungle is pretty damn good, but there are dozens of Ezreal junglers in Korea. In fact, Korea is where Ezreal jungle originated. So how did a foreign jungler take Korea's pick and do better than everyone else? What is the key to AnDa's success? What is his secret strategy? Does he have some secret route that no one knows about? Does he have a 100% hit rate on his Q? Is he not currently dating an e-girl? AnDa's secret strategy to winning so many challenger games is to camp top. When we think about camps, we think about fun summer camps, campfires, chocolates, marshmallows, crackers. When AnDa camps top, it's not a fun summer camp, it's a goddamn concentration camp. I watched every single jungle game that AnDa played in the last 15 days, and in those games, he first ganked top about 79% of the time. Really, it's that fucking simple. He camps top that much. And you might be thinking, well, I camp top a lot, and how come I'm not Korean Challenger yet? What does concentration camp AnDa have that I don't? AnDa's success and how he camps top has to do with 3 main factors. The first factor is AnDa's champion choice. Ezreal jungle has seen a massive surge in popularity over these last few weeks, and the best aspect about him is still not being properly abused by most players. The main asset that Ezreal has is an asset that Nidalee players also have, and that is they can do red buff, wolves, and blue and be able to gank top lane at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Most top laners are used to getting ganked at around 3 minutes, but not at around 240. This means they go to ward just as AnDa shows up, and that means he can often hit a max range spear or a guaranteed Ezreal Q. This leads to a huge advantage in the gank, and it's why he's so consistent in getting his first bloods in the top lane so often. Top lane ganks are always about which jungler gets there first, and AnDa always gets there first. The second factor as to why he's so successful is how much he camps a particular lane. Some junglers feel, okay, I've given top lane 3 ganks, I feel like I've given them enough attention, I will go somewhere else for a bit. Not AnDa. He will continue to make that laner's life so goddamn miserable, they would wish that they were at a real concentration camp. When AnDa does decide to gank bot lane instead of top lane, he will actually do the exact same thing. He will then give top lane almost no attention and solely focus on bot side of the map. And if AnDa can't gank the laners that he's camping, he will instead gank the jungler. Nidalee and Ezreal both have some of the best 1v1 potential. This means that they can bully out a lot of other junglers. If he can't find and kill them, he'll steal the camps from that side of the map, giving the enemy jungler less incentive to actually show up on that side of the map. Getting your lanes ahead doesn't necessarily mean you always have to gank for them. If you make successful invades against the enemy jungler, that means the enemy laners will have to play safer, and it'll create a deficit that they can't come back from. If you can keep track of where the enemy jungler is at all times, your laners will have more incentive to play aggressively because they know that they won't get punished for their aggression. So the next time one of your laners says something like, wow, this guy only ganks top, how come he doesn't gank bot? GG, bad jungler? No, good jungler. Top 20 Korea, actually. That's exactly what you should be doing. Focusing on making one side of the map so damn strong that nothing can set them back. Once that happens, then you can try and help out your struggling lanes. The general rule of thumb that AnDa follows when camping is he continues to do so until the enemy first tower goes down. Then he tries to help out the other side of the map. The third factor of AnDa's success is how he plays with vision. Let's be honest, Nidalee spears are not that hard to dodge. It's a skill shot that does a lot of damage, but it travels very, very slowly. And anyone with half-decent mechanics and reaction times or even prediction abilities can easily dodge Nidalee spears. When AnDa invades and tries to kill the enemy jungler, he's always looking for the areas where the jungler won't be trying to dodge anything. He's looking for opportunities where the enemy jungler won't be paying attention and will be simply focused on other parts of the map and are auto-pathing to something else. Here, AnDa tries to invade Kayn. When Kayn doesn't show up on time to do his blue, AnDa goes to take Gromp instead. If Kayn shows up in the middle of AnDa taking blue buff, he will be at a major disadvantage. AnDa spots Kayn doing wolves on his ward and repositions himself. He throws a spear on Kayn's auto path where Kayn isn't expecting to actually have to dodge anything. The spear is coming from Fog of War, so Kayn has almost no time to even see the spear. AnDa and Kayn duke it out for a little bit, but AnDa is at a huge advantage from hitting a max range spear. AnDa picks up a free first blood as a result and is also able to pick up a blue buff shortly after. In high-elo, everyone's mechanics are pretty damn good, so usually the deciding factor is a person's knowledge and decision making. He tries to hit Maokai in the brush with a spear, but misses. He pounces into the brush and still finds Maokai, but Maokai is able to escape with his W and a blast plant. Now, what most high-ranking players like to do when they're getting chased is they like to leave a trail of wards and vision behind them, like a trail of safety breadcrumbs. This is where AnDa's knowledge of vision surpasses that of most junglers. Scuttle Crab has been taken by Maokai's team, but there's actually a little fog bridge that the enemy team can't see. AnDa knows exactly where this fog bridge is and travels right along it, getting into the dragon pit completely undetected. He knows that Maokai is probably going back to base since he's out of mana, so he counts 7 Mississippi and goes in when he knows that Maokai isn't there anymore. AnDa is like a goddamn G.I. Joe, sneaking past enemy vision lines and flanking them. When you know the range of wards perfectly and get ganks off on the enemy laners that make it seem like you teleported behind them, AnDa completely takes bot lane by surprise and receives 2 well-earned kills from this amazing play. Knowledge of vision is important for a jungler. If you know the paths of enemy jungle champions, it also allows you to invade and steal camps a lot easier. In this game, AnDa is against a Jax jungle. He knows that Jax is going to go red to Wraiths since Jax's counter-strike lets him do Wraiths really easily and it gives him a lot of EXP. So instead of starting bot side where he usually starts, he starts his own red buff and goes straight over to the Jax's blue. Simply knowing the routes of the enemy jungler will allow you to get big buff advantages in the early game. Unfortunately, AnDa's top laner DCs early on, so he'll just have to settle for a mid lane first blood instead. One thing that really separates AnDa from other Nidalee and Ezreal players is his build. A standard Nidalee build looks something like this: Red Smite with Runic Echoes into Athene's, Lichbane, or Zhonya's. AnDa actually often buys Ardent Censer after Athene's Holy Grail instead. This is because he knows after a certain point, Nidalee is extremely difficult to make useful in a team fight. It's hard to assassinate backline because it's hard to hit spears. And in a 5v5 team fight, you're really squishy, so oftentimes you're just gonna have to sit back and poke with spears. By buying Ardent Censer, he's still adding a lot of damage to his team without dealing it himself. On Ezreal, instead of rushing Trinity Force and Bork like most Ezreal players, AnDa instead decides to rush Duskblade on almost every single game. This is because no matter what you do as an Ezreal jungle, you are not a real ADC. The fact is you don't have Muramana and you'll always have a jungle item. That means there will eventually reach a point where your damage can't compete with a real AD carry. So instead of trying to just be a wannabe ADC, AnDa decides to get as much attack damage as he can on Ezreal and play him like an attack damage version of Nidalee, making sure that his Mystic shots hit as hard as Nidalee spears, if not harder. Here's AnDa's full build on each champion. On Nidalee, he starts Hunter's Machete and Refill Potions, into Red Smite with Boots, into a completed Runic Echoes. Right after you finish your jungle items, you should finish Tabbies or Mercs. 90% of the times, you should finish Ninja Tabbies. Get Athenes into Lichbane or Ardent Censer. The choice is dependent on how often you're going to be around a ranged carry. And finish your build up with Zhonya's and Void Staff. For Ezreal, go Machete, Refillable into Red Smite and Boots, Warrior Enchant into Duskblade, Trinity Force, and Hex Drinker. If you are insanely ahead, you can get Bork instead. Otherwise, finish your build with a Last Whisper. Thanks for watching. You can check out AnDa's stream in the description below, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter for any updates to my content. That's it, bye!